Hello and welcome to another reminder of your LV07s Task 1, which you completed in the workshop with us. I hope this video helps. This is going to be for diagnosing and rectifying engine mechanical faults. And if you remember, we did this on the rigs in the workshop rather than on a live vehicle. So before we do any work, we've got to make sure we've got our PPE on. So I've got my steel-toe cap boots on, my one-piece overalls, my goggles, which are really important for protecting your eyes obviously, and my ID badge for safeguarding purposes, which I'm just going to tuck away so that it doesn't get tangled into anything. Before I started the task today, I put some barrier cream on so my hands are protected and it's safe for me to work on this vehicle now. So I think it's really important to stress the fact that this write-up was completed on a rig. You didn't do it on an actual vehicle. And over here I've got an example on the board of the job card from the IMIE portfolio. The job card quite clearly asks for a registration number and approximate year, make and model. If you want to populate that with rig, I'm more than happy for the instructors to pass that off. If you have got an engine number, it would be good to include that. So the task asks you to diagnose and rectify an engine mechanical component fault. So just getting back to my other board, my main board over here, with a fault like this, the first thing we've got to do is make sure we speak to the customer and we find out the problem with the vehicle. And I did speak to a customer and they told me that the car was having issues with idling. Whenever the car idled, the oil pressure light came on and it was something that was concerning them. The customers checked the oil. It has been using an excessive amount of oil over the last few months, and that's why they brought it into us for further investigation. So, before we do any work to the car, it might be worth taking it on a road test, or it might be worth plugging in an oil pressure gauge just to see what kind of oil pressure we've got. It might even be worth replacing the sender unit or checking the sender unit. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to the engine, which we would have used in the workshop. And if you look on the board, it says to time the engine up. So we're going to strip this engine down, we're going to find out what's wrong with it. So before we strip it down, I've marked the timing belt, as you can see here, with some Tipp-Ex. And I've also used these locking pins that lock the engine in place, so there's no danger of the engine moving or anything getting damaged whilst I'm stripping it. So the oil pump, you can see, is at the front of the engine, and there's a ring of bolts around here that have to be taken off. You're also going to have to take the sump off underneath to have a look at the pickup pipe to see if that's blocked, and you're also going to have to check the oil pump clearance on there. So rather than do all that, I've got an example of an oil pump over here. This is normally mounted behind the crankshaft on the engine, and you can see on the board here that the maximum wear we can have on this is 0.06 of a millimetre. So that's that measurement there. Okay. On this one, when we actually measure it, we've got 0.10 of a millimetre of wear. So this oil pump is really worn, okay? And it's worn past the maximum wear amount. So you will be looking at replacing this oil pump, yeah? Once you've replaced the oil pump, which is probably this complete housing on the front here, and you've replaced the oil, and you've replaced the oil filter, and cleaned all those components out, those dirty components out, you're going to be rebuilding the engine, and you'll have to time it up, and everything will have to be aligned. So that's the task that you completed in the workshop. Here's a brief reminder of some of the things. Don't forget your risk assessment that you did at start of task with your instructor. Those are the 5 watts which we normally fill in. And here's a list of the special tools that we've used on the task. I hope this video is of some use to you. I hope it reminds you of the task that you completed with us, and I look forward to seeing your submission in my inbox.